Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will continue with our course Investment and Portfolio Management MGT 531. Today is lecture number 8. The reference book is the same as we have discussed already, that is by Christina 2010 Investment Analysis and Portfolio Management. And the students are required to have little knowledge in the area of finance and investment portfolio management. First of all, we will discuss the summary of the last lecture. That is that we discussed different points in the last lecture. That was the 7th lecture. It was about the portfolio management, return on investment, expected rate of return, risk on investment, and measurement of risk and return. That is how we can measure the risk and return, and concept of variance and that of standard deviation. And we can say that we discussed the portfolio management, and we discussed the very important concepts relevant to the investment portfolio. And that is the about the rate of return on any particular investment or any particular item to be invested in and to be kept in the portfolio of the individual. And as far as the return is concerned, we discussed the expected rate of return. We discussed then the another factor which is known as risk on the investment, which is another important variable and important concept should be very clear for the investors to make the portfolio holdings. And then we discussed the measurement of risk and return, that how we can measure the risk and how we can measure the return as far as the choice and decision about the portfolio holding is concerned. And as far as the measurement is concerned, we have two important concepts. One is of variance and the other one is of standard deviation. We will inshallah continue with the similar discussion today in this lectures. And as far as the contents of today's lectures are concerned, we will continue to do the risk and return relationship for the investment in little bit detailed manners, and we will discuss the expected rate of return, we will discuss the risk, and we will discuss their measures as well. Investment portfolio management, measure of risk. What is risk? We discussed in the last class also. Risk is basically the danger, it is basically the harm, it is the fear or doubt which is associated with the benefit of having investment. Or in other words, we can say what level of the fear, what level of doubt we are going to have and we are going to face and we expect to face when we are trying to decide about the portfolio, when we are trying to decide to purchase any item in our investment and in our portfolio holdings. And measure of the risk, we have different standards, we have different types of measurement of risk as far as investment is concerned, as far as the purchase of different items and different instruments to be kept in our portfolio is concerned. That is where individual investor is likely to purchase and is likely to decide to purchase different items to keep in his portfolio and different items to keep in his set of investment. He has to consider different points. One is the return, and definitely the individual investor considers these points. One is the risk factor and the other one is the return factor. These two are very much important, and we will definitely discuss again and again, and we will touch these factors again and again. And we did these concepts in the last classes also, because we are doing the course which is about the investment portfolio management, and very much important course as far as the investment is concerned. Therefore, and these two factors and these two concepts, which are the benefit and the associated factor which is known as risk, are very much important to be discussed, and the investor should be very clear about these factors, should be very clear about the concept of these factors. Therefore, we will discuss these points again and again, and we can, in other words, in simple words, we can say that the factors of the return and risk are the concepts of return and risk. They will be with us throughout the discussion in this course and in all topics, we can say. Measurement of risk, that is how we can measure the risk. What is the what is the need to measure the risk? On one hand, we have the theoretical concepts of return and risk. what is the theoretical concept of risk and return. We know that return is basically the benefit that we are going to have out of the purchase of different items in our portfolio. Or in other words, we can say that these are the outcomes, positive outcomes which we are likely to earn from the purchase of any investment factor, from the purchase of any instrument in our portfolio holding. On the other hand, we have another important factor which is known as risk, and risk is the doubt, or it is basically the variation between the actual rate of return that we are going to have and the expected rate of return that we were expecting at the time of the purchase of different items and at the time of purchase of different instruments in our portfolio holding. As far as the measurement of the risk is concerned, we have different important concepts. One is variance that we discussed in the last class. Also, second one is standard deviation that we discussed also to little bit discussed in the last class. Third one is sample variance, and last one is sample standard deviation. These are the similar measures of risk and can be used for same purpose in the investment analysis. We can say these four important measures of risk, they are more or less similar in nature, and they are likely to measure the level of risk in a similar nature, and they are likely to guide the individual investor to make the investment in a similar manner and with similar pattern. Because the name are more or less similar, but what is the difference we can discuss here, and these are very important to be used in the analysis of the investment purchases and the analysis of decisions of the individual investors to make their purchases in their investment portfolio. However, standard deviation in practice is used more often. So we are having two basic concepts. One is variance, the other one is standard deviation. Then we have sample variance and we have sample standard deviation. But we can see that standard deviation is the concept which is practically used more as compared to the variance. Variance and standard deviations, they are used when the investor is focused on estimating total risk that could be expected in the defined period in future. What is the basically the need and what is the reason to use the variance and standard deviation, which are the first two measures of risk indicated in the front of in the upper part of the slide, why these are used. And we can say that investor is more likely to be focused on these two measures of risk when he or she wants to calculate the total risk associated with the investment, or to calculate and measure the total risk with all levels of investment he is going to make in the future time period. Therefore, we can say that variance and standard deviations, these are two important measures of risk for the investment the investor is going to make in the future time period. Then we have the other two important concepts. One is the sample variance, the other one is sample standard deviation. Why these two measures of risk are used, and why the investors are likely to use, why they should use in order to calculate their risk, in order to measure their level of risk. So we can say they also evaluate the total risk. They use the investors use the sample variance as well as sample standard deviation whenever they are likely to evaluate the total risk for their investment. But what is the particular as far as these are concerned? Particular is that when they have done their investment in the past period. So we can say in simple words, we can say that they use the sample variance and standard deviation when they have made certain investment and when they have done certain investment in the past time period, and definitely they want to find out the previous trends of the risk associated with any particular instrument, associated with the investment and purchase of any particular item or entity with the investors kept in his portfolio. This is the very much important information that we should have, and we should be clear as an investor or as a managers of portfolio in the past time period as well as in the future time period. Therefore, we can say that these four important points are very helpful to guide the investor, to guide the manager of portfolio holding in order to manage his portfolio or her portfolio. These are two important. And the other important difference that we can have is that there is a difference between the population and the sample, definitely. As far as the population is concerned, we have certain population out of which we can about which we have to make the decisions, are the population about which we take the information. And if we look at the environment of the investment, we have different items that we are going to purchase, or the other investors are going to purchase and are likely to keep in their portfolio holdings, or in other words, they have kept in the past, they have bought in the past, and these particular items were the portfolio part of their holdings in the past time period, in the historical time period. We can say that what is the difference between the population and sample? And the sample is something that we select out of the population. And we have, if we talk about the last time period, if we talk about the previous fiscal time period, we can say, for example, about 11 to 12 or 12 to 13 or 2013 to 2014. So we have made as investor different portfolios. We have made our decisions about the choices of the portfolio and what we have done in the past, what the other investors have done in the past. We can select the sample of that, and we can calculate the returns for different items of the investors as far as the investment is concerned. And similarly, we can calculate the risk associated with those investments that we have made in the past time period. In this way, we can calculate the trend, that what was happened with any item, or with the number of the items in the past, as far as their returns are concerned, as far as their benefit is concerned. Sample covariance between the two assets. Then we have the concept of sample covariance between two assets, A and B. We have already discussed this point, and we can say that covariance between the A and between the returns of two assets, one is the asset A, second one is the asset B. And we have definitely the corresponding rate of returns for these two assets. If we look at the formula, we can see at the left hand side term of the equality, we have the COV of RA and RB. This indicates the covariance between the returns on asset A and returns on asset B. Covariance basically indicates the relationship between the returns of two assets. One is asset A and second one is asset B. So what is the concept of covariance? The concept of covariance is that covariance indicates the interrelationship or interdependence or the mutual relationship of the returns of two assets. One is the asset A and other one is asset B. That what is the relationship, what has been the relationship between the returns of asset A and the asset B? If we look at the right hand side of the equality, we can find the summation. If we have the aggregate in denominator of the right hand side term, we have aggregate of the differences between the return of A and return of B. The first term, which is RAT on the right hand side, in the denominator we find that RAT indicate the rate of return for the asset A, whereas RBT indicate the rate of return for the asset B, or T is specific time period during which we have made our investment. Or in other words, we can say that we decided to buy the asset A and we decided to buy the asset B in any specific time period which can be indicated by the time period T or the notation T. Then we have second terms, which are after the difference in denominator. Or what are these terms? We have RA, and we can indicate the RA by RA hat. We can indicate the RA by RA bar by putting a bar on above the RA, and what is RA? We have already discussed that RA is the return, or in other words, we can say it is the rate of return to the purchase of asset A, and RB is the rate of return to the asset B, and RB can be indicated by putting a bar on it also. And what is the RA and RB? We can say what is the difference between RA and RB? RA is the rate of return on A, and if we look it as a RA bar, it is the sample rate of return, it is the sample mean of rate of return of asset A. and RB bar is basically the sample mean of rate of return for the asset B. So we can say these are the expected values, these are the average values of returns of asset A and asset B. So we can say that these are the average values of the returns, average and mean values of the returns for two assets A and B. So we are looking at the difference, that what is the difference between the actual rate of return. In other words, we can say कि जो RAT है, it indicates the rate of return on purchase of asset A at time period T. And RBT is the actual, these are the actual terms, these are indicating the actual factors, actual rate of returns at time T for the investment in the asset A and investment in the asset B. And secondly, we can say that RA bar we have on one hand and RB bar on other hand. These are the mean values, and the first term on the denominator on the right hand side indicate that we are looking at the difference between the actual rate of return and the mean rate of return for the asset A, specifically for the asset A. First term in the denominator of the right hand side is RAT minus RA. This is indicating that how much is the difference of the actual rate of return on the purchase of asset A from the mean rate of return on the asset A. And second term in denominator is RBT minus RB. And this again tells that what is the difference between the actual rate of return on asset B and the sample rate of return, sample mean rate of return of the asset B. So in simple words, we can say how much is the deviation of the actual rate of return of asset A from the mean rate of return of asset A. And in other words, what is the actual deviation of actual rate of return of asset A from asset B from the mean rate of return of asset B. And if we discuss the denominator of the right hand side term, we can say it is n minus 1, or it is giving n is the sample size, and we are subtracting 1 from here because whenever we are talking about the starting period and intercept period, the origin, so we lose one observation. That is why we are subtracting n from 1 from n. We can say, and one further information is that the number of the sample covariance can range from minus infinity to the positive infinity. That is the value of the covariance. It ranges between minus infinity to positive infinity. It may start from negative towards the positive. It has two extreme values. On negative side, it has extreme value. On the positive side, it may also bear extreme value. Then we again continuing with this discussion, we can say that though the covariance number does not tell the investor much about the relationship between the returns on the two assets, if only this pair of assets in the portfolio is analyzed. What this statement is saying, the meaning of this statement is that if we have only this particular pair of assets in our portfolio holdings, or if any investor has this particular pair of assets in his portfolio, and what is that pair of asset is the asset A and B, and we assume that the asset portfolio of the individual investor is comprising of two assets, one is A and the other one is B, and we have only two assets, and we have to analyze, we can observe the behavior of the only two assets as far as the returns are concerned, as well as the mean value of the return is concerned, as well as the risk associated is concerned. We cannot elaborate much the correlation, we cannot elaborate much the interrelationship of the returns of two assets, and this concept of covariance, when we have only two assets in our portfolio, it does not explain much to the investor that what is the relationship between the returns on these two assets, because we are having only two these assets in our portfolio, and if we do not have the other one and the market, because if we have the other one, so we can say that the choice of the other variables is also going to affect the choice of the specific variable. All the variables in the portfolio of the investor, they are likely to affect the behavior of the other variables, the behavior of the other items being kept and being purchased in the portfolio of the individual. Therefore, it is difficult to conclude that relationship between returns of two assets A and B is strong or weak, taking into account the absolute number of the sample variance. So we can say that if we look at if we calculate the covariance between two assets A and B, and if we look at the absolute value of two assets and returns of two assets A and B, and what is the absolute value, that we, for the time being, we ignore their signs, whether they are on positive infinity side or they are towards negative side. If we ignore the sign, we can, from the value of the or the number of the covariance, we cannot assess whether there is strong relationship between the two assets or there is weak relationship between the two assets. So we cannot say much about that what type of relationship, what is the strength of the correlation between two assets which are kept in the portfolio of any particular investor, portfolio of any particular individual. And returns of the covariance of the returns between two assets cannot explain much, cannot make the situation as far as the investment is concerned clear to the investor, and so that the investor will definitely decide about what he or she has to do as far as the investment is concerned, as far as the purchasing decision of different items is concerned, to be kept in the portfolio of the individual. Therefore, this is we can say this is a little bit weakness of this measure, and we have to identify the direction of the relationship in this concern. We should, whenever we talk about different measures of the measures of relationship of returns, we have to clarify the direction of the relationship, that what is the direction of the relationship between two assets. However, what is important is that using the covariance for measuring the relationship between two assets, the identification of direction of relationship is important. That is the measurement of the number or magnitude of covariance between two variables and the returns are two variables is helpful to make the situation clear to the investor and to make the environment clear to the investor, so that he can clearly assess about the situation, that what is going on, and what will be the fate and what will be the end decision or gain of his investment or his investment in particular items in his portfolio. And particularly, we have given the example of two assets here. One is the asset A and the other one is the asset B. If we look at the direction of relationship, that is in which direction the two variables and the returns of two variables are moving, in which direction they are going. One type of covariance is positive covariance. And what the positive covariance indicates? Positive covariance indicates that the correlation of returns of two assets, for example A and B, moves in positive direction, or they have positive interrelationship. In other words, in simple words, we can say that the returns on two assets A and B, or the RA and RB, they have positive association, they move in positive direction, or in other words, in same direction. Positive number of covariance shows that the rate of return of two assets are moving in the same direction. It is very much clear from the concept or from the definition of the positive covariance, that is the positive number of covariance, positive magnitude of covariance. Once we have calculated this measure, so what we get out of this measure, what is the magnitude of the measure, what is the significance of this measure, tells us. If it is positive, it tells us that rate of return of two assets, asset A and asset B, they go in same direction, they move in same direction. So what is that direction? We say that if they are moving, if one type of return is moving in the positive direction or moving upward direction, so we can say that other one is following it. They are moving side by side. If the returns of one asset is going to increase, the return of the other asset will also increase, or we can observe it to be increasing. So when return on the asset A is above its mean return, we have already discussed that whenever we have actual observations, for example, when we measure the value of the two returns of the two variables, we can see that what is going with this. Going with this is that when we move, is we have one variable and we have the other variable. One variable is the actual rate of return. The other variable is the mean rate of return. What is actual rate of return? Actual rate of return is that what is the actual observation of rate of return at any particular time. Let's say if the maturity time period or this time period, holding time period of any asset is for 1 month, and we are looking at the values of that asset at daily basis, and if we discuss the first date of the month, let's say month of July, if we look at the observation, if we observe the behavior of the returns of asset A at 1st of July, and we see that what is the actual behavior, and we up to 30th July we take the different observations of the rate of return of the asset A, and we can calculate definitely the average value of the rate of return of the asset A. What is the difference between the two? How much is the difference between the two? In other words, we can say how much the actual observation is varying from the average value or the average rate of return of the asset A. This tells us the flaw, that is whether the actual observation of the rate of return is moving very close to the mean value of the return, or it is going far from the mean value of the mean value of the rate of return of asset A. What is the actual situation which is going on? This point tells us when the rate of return on asset A is above the mean value of the return. For example, if we observe the actual rate of return of any asset A is higher than the mean rate of return of the asset A, it is known as positive. We can say it is positive. It bears positive value. We are again starting from here. When return on asset A is above its mean of the return, that is, we can say that it is bearing positive value. For example, we can say R on A is greater than mean R of A, and mean of R A can be indicated by R A bar. And this tells us that we can observe that the rate of return can be indicated by ROR, rate of return is bearing positive value. It is bearing positive number. The other asset B tend to be the same, that it will bear the positive value. So we can say if this is the situation, we can say that the asset B is also bearing positive value. For example, here we can say that if rate of return, actual rate of return on A is greater than mean rate of return on A, or this we can say that it is indicating positive trend. Now this is the value of the covariance between value of the covariance, and we have similarly, if we look at the rate of return on B is greater than this is the actual rate of return on B is greater than the mean rate of return on B, we can say positive. If the first condition is satisfied, which is known as RA is greater than RA bar, we can say the magnitude of the R is positive, it will definitely indicate that the second observation or the second variable, which is RB, is following positive direction. We can say both are moving in the same direction, and they both have positive, bearing positive value. And then we have again, when the rate of return of asset A is negative or below the mean value. Second type of observation that we can say that if rate of return of asset A is less than mean rate of return on asset A. When it is less than mean rate of return on asset A, we can say that it is bearing negative value. The magnitude of R is bearing negative value. If this happens with the asset A and with the returns of the asset A, we can observe that RB is similarly less than RB bar. RB is less than RB bar, or we can say they are this is the negative. Both are moving in the in same direction, but they are moving in the opposite direction, and we can indicate this by the graph also. For example, we can say that what is the difference between the actual, if we say that this is the mean rate of return for for the returns on the asset A, RA indicate mean rate of return on the asset A, and this line indicates the mean value of the returns, mean R on the asset A. And how much is the difference of the actual observation? Let's say we have one observation over here, the other one is here, other one is here. We can say we are observing the first for the 1st of July, first day of the July, and second one is second observation is for the 2nd of July, and third observation, let's say, is for the 3rd of July. and we are observing the rate of return of the asset A on different dates, and we can take the mean value and calculate the mean value, and basically this line is straight line is indicating the mean value of rate of return on the asset A, and the difference is indicating that how much is the difference between the actual value from the mean value. Similarly, we can draw the line and we can draw the graph for the rate of return on the asset B. Then we move to the next concept, which is about the negative covariance. What is negative covariance? Negative number of covariance shows that the rate of return of two assets are moving in the contrawise direction. They are contradictory. In simple words, we can say that the rate of return of two assets, one is the asset A, the other one is asset B, they are moving in opposite directions. If one is moving on rightward, the other one moving leftward, and they are following different direction. They are following they are following opposite directions. We can say that negative number of covariance shows that rate of return of two assets are moving in the opposite directions. When return on asset A is above the mean value of the return, that is positive, we can say that when the asset A or the rate of return on asset A is following positive value, what happens and what is the situation with the rate of return to the B, returns of the other asset which is B tends to be negative, and vice versa. For example, here if we draw the diagram, we can say if the mean rate of return for A is RA, and we can say if the actual observations are lying above this, or in simple word we can say if actual value of R is greater than the mean value of return of asset A. This is the one situation we can say this is following the positive trend. The rate of returns are following positive trend. We are having more than the average value of the rate of return of asset A. This condition tells us that we are so lucky to earn higher rate of return than the average or mean rate of return for the particular asset A. What happens to the rate of return to the B? Rate of return to the B, we see that rate of return on B, they will be less than rate of return to mean rate of return on asset B, and we can say that it is following negative trend. It is moving in the opposite direction of the that of A, and if we draw this, we can see that this is the mean rate of return for B, and we are having the observations lying below this mean value or the average value. And the actual observations for the rate of return for B, they are lying below this. This indicates the difference, and we can say that both are moving in the opposite direction to each other, or both returns are moving in the opposite direction. In analyzing relationship between the assets in the same direction using covariance for portfolio formation, it is important to identify which of the three possible outcomes exist. So we can say that when we analyze the mutual association between the returns of assets which we are going to purchase, or which we have kept, or which we have decided to keep in our portfolio, and we have three basic concepts as far as the measurement of the returns with the help of the covariance is concerned. First is positive covariance, indicated by positive covariance. Second is indicated by negative covariance, or third is indicated by zero covariance. So first indicate that positive covariance, as we discussed before, 2 or 3 minutes before, that there is positive covariance between the rate of return, actual rate of return, and the mean value. And what are the negative covariances, which indicate that the returns on the asset A and B, that if we have kept two assets and we have purchased two assets in our portfolio for the portfolio management and holdings, so the negative covariance indicate that two returns on two assets, they move in opposite direction. And third, we have zero covariance, that is, there is no correlation, indicate that the correlation between two assets and between the returns of two assets, or in other words we can say that mutual association between the returns of two assets is zero. And in simple words we can say that there is no association. The third point indicate that there is no association between the returns of two assets. No association between returns of two assets, or this tells us that if whether we keep A or we keep B, there will be no relationship between the returns of two assets. The returns of two assets are they are indifferent to each other and they are not mutually correlated, and the investor is relatively relaxed and independent as far as the investment in these two assets is concerned, as far as the decision to purchase these two assets is concerned. Then continuing with the topic risk and return, we have, if the positive covariance, first number, if the positive covariance between two assets is identified, that we identify that positive covariance exists between two assets and between the returns of two assets, the investor should not put both of these assets to the same portfolio. What the investor should do, what should be the decision of the investor? The important thing is the decision of investor. इन्वेस्टर का डिसीजन जो है वो इस सिचुएशन में क्या होगा, अगर ही और शी हैज़ आइडेंटिफाइड दैट पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन एग्जिस्ट बिटवीन द रिटर्न्स ऑफ टू एसेट्स, यानी कि अगर दोनों एसेट्स जो हैं दे मूव इन सेम डायरेक्शन, इफ रिटर्न्स ऑफ टू एसेट्स मूव इन सेम डायरेक्शन दे फॉलो सेम डायरेक्शन, तो व्हाट शुड बी द डिसीजन ऑफ the individual investor? So decision of individual investor should be that he or she should not put both these assets in his portfolio. उसको दोनों assets को at a time in his portfolio नहीं रखना चाहिए, उसको he should not purchase both assets in the same direction. Why this concept is interesting, and this is very much and we have definitely some reason to find the knowledge further and for further information about it, why we are not likely to keep two assets in the portfolio and why investors should not keep these two assets which are having positive correlation in his portfolio. और positive correlation का मतलब क्या है कि rate of return जब एक का बढ़ता है दूसरे का rate of return बढ़ रहा है, और definitely we know कि investor is too much concerned about the rate of return, उसको rate of return के साथ गर्ज है, and investor whether male or female is likely to purchase the items, is likely to purchase the instruments for his portfolio holdings, इनका rate of return जो है वो ज़्यादा होता है और वो positively move करता है. और हम यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कि positive का मतलब जो है वो clear ये है कि जब उसका actual return जो होते हैं they are higher than mean returns, actual R is greater than mean returns, और यानी कि on average उसके return जो है वो ज़्यादा है उसके actual return, और on average जो trend है returns का for particular asset A और particular asset B वो ज़्यादा है, तो definitely this is a situation which is attracting the investor or which is appealing to the investor, और इन्वेस्टर के लिए ये it is creating happiness. Then why this is the recommendation for the investor not to keep this investment, not to keep these particular assets, or not to decide to purchase these two assets at one time, at the same time, to be the part of his portfolio set. और उसको क्यों अपने portfolio set में ये नहीं रखना चाहिए? This is very interesting point, this is very interesting discussion कि जबकि जो objective is to maximize the benefit, objective is to have maximum benefit, to extract maximum profit out of our choices as far as the investment is concerned, out of our choices of the instruments, the choices of the tools, choices of the items we are likely to keep in our portfolio holdings. Then why the recommendations or the policy point should be that these should not be kept in the portfolio of the individual investor. Reason is, what is the reason behind? Reason is because they move in the same direction. And when we talk about the investment, we know that we have the optimization situation here, that objective is to optimize, always the objective is to optimize. Optimization of the objective, or what is optimization? Optimization basically is to have maximum benefit, is to have maximum profit out of the purchase of the portfolio. जो portfolio भी individual decide करता है उसका objective basic ये है कि उसको maximum benefit मिले, उसको maximum profit मिले, out of this he is able to extract maximum. But at the same time we should not ignore the point of risk. We should not ignore the risk. Risk factor is there, और risk जो है is an important factor, is an important thing which is likely to influence, is important determinant of choice of portfolio holding. And as far as the return are concerned, we should be careful about the study and about the analysis of the risk factor associated with the purchase of investment, associated with the decision to keep different items in our investment. So risk of the portfolio is very much important. Risk in portfolio will not be diversified in this situation. That is the risk. Or what is the meaning of the diversification of risk over here? Is particular case में from the diversification of risk we mean that risk will not increase, will increase, it will not decrease. So what we are going to discuss here, what we are going to clarify here, that we should be very clear and we should have very bright guideline and very important information. That is when the rate of returns are higher and we think that they are higher, they are moving in the positive direction and they are leading our profit rate in the positive direction. At the same time, risk is there and which we are likely to avoid. And we know what is risk. It is basically diverting. The risk is creating the difference between the actual rate of return that we are able to get actually and the expected rate of return. So risk की definition जो होती है, we have already defined it clearly, that the risk indicates the difference between the actual rate of return and the expected rate of return. And from the actual rate of return we mean what we are likely to get actually and what we are likely to earn actually from the actual investment and from the practical situation of the market, or what is the expected level of return. What is our expectations? हमारी expectations जो हैं वो क्या हैं कि हम जो है इसको परचेज करना चाहते हैं किसी एसेट को, तो हम व्हाट वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टू अर्न आउट ऑफ इट. तो रिस्क क्या होता है? रिस्क इज बेसिकली क्रिएटिंग ए डिफरेंस एंड मेकिंग दीज टू वेरिएबल्स फॉर फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ये एक दूसरे को अलग करता है और जितना ज़्यादा एक्चुअल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न और एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ रिटर्न का डिफरेंस होगा उतना ही लेवल ऑफ रिस्क जो है वो ज़्यादा होगा और डेफिनेटली इट विल क्रिएट डेंजर फॉर द इन्वेस्टर. तो और ये बात भी इट इज़ ऑल्सो क्लियर कि ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट, ऐसी इन्वेस्टमेंट, ऐसे आइटम्स जिनमें हमारा रेट ऑफ रिटर्न ज़्यादा होता है, दे आर एसोसिएटेड विद द हाई रिस्क. उनका रिस्क भी ज़्यादा होता है और इफ़ दे आर वोलेटाइल, इफ़ देयर रिटर्न्स आर वोलेटाइल, तो दिस क्रिएट ए मोर रिस्की सिचुएशन फॉर द इन्वेस्टर. इसलिए एट अ टाइम दो ऐसे एसेट जिनका रेट ऑफ रिटर्न जो है वो ज़्यादा हो, दे शुड नॉट बी डिसाइडेड टू kept in the portfolio holding. They should not be decided to be the part of portfolio holding as a rational individual investor and as a rational individual decision maker. We should avoid this type of investment. So what is then we will discuss the another type of another type of the covariance, which is the negative covariance. And we can say if the negative covariance between the pair of assets is identified, that if we identify that there is negative covariance between the two, that their actual rate of return are less than the actual rate of returns, they are less than the mean rate of return. So we can say that investor would kept both of these assets in his portfolio. He should decide to keep both of these assets in his portfolio, क्योंकि we have decided कि these two assets for which the covariance is negative, जिन assets का covariance जो होता है वो negative होता है और उन assets में they move in opposite direction, वो opposite direction में move करते हैं. If one go in a positive direction, other will go in this second direction, negative direction. For example, हम कहते हैं if one go in upward direction, the second one will go in negative direction. It will slope downward. एक का स्लोप जो है वो अपवर्ड इंडिकेट कर रहा है और सेकंड का स्लोप जो है वो नेगेटिव डायरेक्शन को इंडिकेट कर रहा है. दे आर मूविंग इन दी ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन. एंड अगेन व्हाट इज द रीजन? वी शुड मेक द कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर कि व्हाट इज द रीजन फॉर दिस टाइप ऑफ चॉइस एंड व्हाई वी आर इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस टाइप ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ द पॉलिसी. And why this policy point is important? Because we have already discussed that the risk is associated with the return. Whenever there is risk, there is return. And high risk means high return. High risk leads to high return. So high risk indicates high return and low return indicates low risk. There is this type of relationship between the two. So what we should do as a rational decision maker, as a rational investor, what we should do, because these are two opposite or contradictory type of association between the returns of two assets is indicated. Both should be kept in the and both should be the part of the portfolio holdings, because if we have, for example, for the asset A, if we have higher returns, it shows high risk. High returns mean high risk, and if we have secondly another asset which is asset B, or if we have low returns for asset B, this shows we have low risk as well. And both if we keep in our portfolio holding, so we can manage them. Or this is not we should make clear this point, if the rate of return for the asset A is high at one time and it is indicating the high risk also, and the rate of return for the asset B is low at one time, it is indicating low risk also, it is quite possible that next time or in next day or in next week or in next month of the portfolio holding, it is quite possible that the reverse situation as far as the returns is concerned may appear in the market, and the rate of return for the asset A may fall, and definitely following the low risk level, and the rate of return for the asset B may indicate a positive direction, may indicate upward sloping direction. For example, we can draw this both these trends over here. Let's say if we look at the situation over here for the rate of return of the asset A, we say that rate of return for the asset A is following positive direction. In this case, it is quite possible that by the mid of the month, let's say 15th of July, if we take the example, after that it may decline, it may follow a negative direction. It depends upon why it follows negative direction, depends upon the nature of the asset, that what type of asset we are holding. Nature of the asset A depends upon the economic situation of the economy, कि economy में economic situation जो है वो क्या prevail कर रही है, और it also depends upon the political factors prevailing in the country, कि हमारी country में political factors कौन से हैं जो कि prevail कर रहे हैं, और these factors may likely to affect the rate of return for the asset A, and it may follow the declining trend. And similarly, we can say that if return on B is following negative direction, for example, after some time it may start increasing the positive direction, so we can say because they are following opposite direction after 15 or 16 July, it is quite possible, this is the example, that after 15 and 16 July the trends may change as far as the returns for two assets are concerned. The returns on the asset A, which were very high, they may follow downward direction, they may follow declining trend after the mid of the month, and the asset B, which was showing a low rate of return, which was showing a declining trend in the rate of return, may divert the direction, and after the mid of the month, due to again we can say due to the certain factors prevailing in the financial market, due to the factor prevailing in the economy of the country, and other economic factors as well as political factors, they may influence the behavior of these assets and may influence definitely the returns on the asset, and the asset B may start following positive direction, and the return on asset E may start increasing. Therefore, it is recommended, that may be the important policy point, that we should not keep our portfolio say similar type of assets in our portfolio holding, or we should not keep at the same time those assets whose covariance is positive, and we should keep those assets whose covariance is negative. We should prefer to keep, and we should prefer to decide to choose those assets in our portfolio for which we follow, we observe, and we calculate the negative number of the covariance between two returns of two assets A and B. Continuing with the same topic, return and risk, we discuss some other concepts to analyze the subject. Correlation and the coefficient of determination. Correlation, as far as the covariance is concerned, if there is zero covariance between the two assets, अगर दो assets के दरम्यान में zero covariance हो, अगर उनके दरम्यान में कोई relationship ना हो, उनका covariance की measurement की या जो उनकी covariance की term आ रही है वो आपस में zero आ रही है, तो we should be comfortable to and feel comfortable to keep A and B in our portfolio. They can be the part of the portfolio because we can say that the return of A, they are not affecting the return of B, and return from the B are not affecting the return from the asset A, or they are irrelevant to each other. Therefore both of these can be kept in similar portfolio and can be the set of the portfolio of one individual. And then we have correlation and coefficient of determination. That what is the concept of correlation and coefficient of determination? And correlation is again concept of correlation indicate the association between the the returns of two assets, and between the returns of two assets or indicate the mutual relationship. Correlation indicate mutual relationship between the returns of two assets RA and RB, or this is also known as mutual association of the returns of two assets. That is how they are associated. Whether any association exists between them, or the association as we discussed earlier, it may be similar direction association, it may be opposite direction associated. Or similar direction association is positive association, or जो opposite direction association it may be indicated as negative association. Okay, they move in, but the association is there, or this is, or what we can call it as a correlation. And whenever there is a correlation, we have to have the coefficient of determination. Whenever there is correlation lying between the two assets, and we have measured the correlation existing and prevailing between the returns of two assets, so we can calculate some other thing which is known as coefficient of determination. If we properly define the correlation is basically the degree of relationship between two variables. So we can say that two important concepts should be discussed and should be clarified as far as the covariance, as far as the association between the two assets is concerned, between the returns of two assets is concerned. The first is that whether relationship exists, whether or not relationship exists, कि इन दोनों एसेट्स के दरमियान में रिलेशनशिप जो है वो लाई करता है कि नहीं करता, और इट मे बी यस और नो, वेदर द रिलेशनशिप एग्जिस्ट और नॉट. रिलेशनशिप उन दोनों के दरमियान में लाई करता है या नहीं करता. एक बात, अगर लाई करता है तो यस, अगर नहीं करता तो नो, राइट. और अगर लाई करता है, अगर नो, इफ देयर इज नो रिलेशनशिप, if two types of returns, they are not likely to be associated, there is no issue, फिर तो उसका कोई मसला नहीं है. बट इफ टू टाइप्स ऑफ रिटर्न्स आर लाइकली टू बी कोरिलेटेड, अगर वो दोनों आपस में कोरिलेटेड हैं, इफ दे आर लाइकली टू बी एसोसिएटेड विद ईच अदर, देन व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिलेशनशिप. सेकंड थिंग इज दैट व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव. व्हेन एसोसिएशन एग्जिस्ट, वेदर पॉजिटिव एसोसिएशन और नेगेटिव एसोसिएशन. और जब positive association, if we said if positive association exists, तो how much, कितनी exist करती है, what is the degree, what is the strength and power of the association. अगर exist करती है तो क्या इसकी power है, इसका magnitude क्या है, इसकी strength क्या है, और थर्ड और सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, पॉजिटिव. और सिमिलरली हम कहते हैं कि नेगेटिव, अगर नेगेटिव एसोसिएशन जो है वो एग्जिस्ट करती है तो कितनी पावर है इसकी. अगेन, हाउ मच इज द नेगेटिव एसोसिएशन, तो ये कितनी एग्जिस्ट करती है. नेगेटिव, अगर कोई कोएफिशिएंट नेगेटिव आ रहा है तो वो कितना नेगेटिव आ रहा है, उसकी जो वैल्यू है वो कितनी नेगेटिव है, हाउ मच इज नेगेटिव. These are the important concepts. We can say that correlation is the degree of relationship between the two assets. It basically indicates the significance of relationship. It indicates the power of relationship. So we can call it as a degree of relationship, as a degree of association between the two assets and between the two variables A and B. correlation coefficient between two assets is closely related to the covariance, and we can further say that जो दोनों का correlation coefficient है उनका आपस में close related है. So we can say that coefficient of correlation कि कितना coefficient है, कितना magnitude है उनकी correlation का, उनके आपस में inter relationship का कितनी significance है, कितनी power है, कितनी strength है, it is closely related to their covariance. ये उनके covariance से पे डिपेंड करती है और इसकी covariance के साथ बड़ा close relationship है. The correlation coefficient between two assets A and B can be indicated by formula. And what is the formula? It is covariance between RA and RB. Left hand side term on the equality is indicating that covariance between RA and RB. What is the correlation? What is the mutual association and mutual relationship that is lying between RA, between returns of A and returns of asset B? And what is on the left hand side of the equality? On the left hand side of equality we have term in numerator which is covariance of RA and RB, which indicates the magnitude of covariance divided by standard deviation multiplication of standard deviation. We can say this indicates the correlation, or this indicates the association between RA, returns on A and returns on B. And this is the denominator. In denominator we have standard deviation of A and standard deviation of B. इन दोनों का स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन क्या है? वी हैव मल्टीप्लाइड दैट. और स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन कहाँ से आता है? स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन कम्स फ्रॉम द अंडर रूट ऑफ द वेरिएंस. वी कैन से इट इज द अंडर रूट ऑफ वेरिएंस बिटवीन द ए अंडर वेरिएंस ऑफ आर ए एंड वेरिएंस ऑफ आर बी. व्हेन वी टेक द अंडर रूट वी हैव द स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन of the A and standard deviation of the B. It definitely indicates basically the variance indicates the difference between the RA actual value of RA minus expected value of RA. RA की actual value और expected value का कितना difference है? How much the actual value is far from the expected value of the RA. But we are expecting about the returns of RA, how much they are different from the actual observation about the rate of return on the asset R. उन दोनों में कितना आपस में डिफरेंस पाया जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी अज्यूम कि यहाँ पे हमारे पास दो कॉलम है. वन कॉलम इज आर ए मीन और एक एक्चुअल कॉलम है, और जिसमें हम कहते हैं लेट्स से इट इज 10%, और ये हमारी वैल्यू जो है वो थ्रू आउट हमारी ये 30 की ऑब्जर्वेशन आई है. ये 10 आ गई ऑब्जर्वेशन, अगली ऑब्जर्वेशन हमारी 25 आ गई, अगली ऑब्जर्वेशन हमारी 40 आ गई, इट इज ग्रेटर. और अगली ऑब्जर्वेशन हमारी जो है वो इट इज लेट्स से इट इज 20. तो व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू? हमारी एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू और एक्चुअल वैल्यू के दरमियान में एक्चुअल ऑब्जर्वेशन, एक्चुअली व्हाट वी आर लाइकली टू गेट आउट ऑफ आर इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑन द फैक्टर ए, व्हाट वी आर गेट एंड व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू. और ये डेविएशन जो थी व्हेन वी टेक द स्क्वायर, जब हम इसका स्क्वायर लेते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल आर ए माइनस एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ आर ए, when we take the square of this we get the variance. This is the variance. We take the square because it can move two direction. It may be above, the values are above the mean value, they are also below the mean value. We have two types of values and two types of difference indicated from the expected value. Expected value से जो actual observations हैं वो ज़्यादा भी आ सकती हैं और वो से कम भी आ सकती हैं. That's why here if we again look at the formula for calculating the correlation coefficient, जो हमने कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट कैलकुलेट किया है, अगर हम उसके लिए फार्मूला को देखें, SDA and SDB they are respectively indicating the standard deviation for asset A and standard deviation for asset B. The correlation coefficient can range from -1 to +1 through 0. The value of the correlation coefficient can range from -1, it can move to the minus and to the positive value also, from 0 towards +1 and from 0 to the leftward direction negative direction, that indicates the negative value. Then continuing with the discussion of the topic return and the risk, we have the more close the absolute meaning of correlation to 1. If we can say if the absolute meaning, if we ignore this sign of the value of the magnitude of correlation, or in other words we can say if we take the absolute value of the correlation coefficient, we can have if the closer to the 1, if the value absolute value is closer to the 1, it is not different, very much different from the one, the stronger the relationship between the returns of two assets. अगर जो हमारा absolute meaning of correlation coefficient है, absolute value of correlation coefficient है, it is very close to the value 1, जिसको हमने 1 कहा है, हमने कहा it is the maximum value of up to which the correlation coefficient can go. और अगर it is very closer to that value, तो we can say that positive correlation exists between two. इन दोनों के दरम्यान में positive correlation जो है वो exist करती है. और we can say two variables and the returns of two variables, they are positively correlated with each other. They have strong positive relationship with each other as indicated through the correlation coefficient. That is, the number of the two assets have a perfect positive linear relationship with each other. और we can say, in other words, we can say that इन दोनों के दरम्यान में perfect positive relationship है. For example, this type of relationship we indicate, let's say one return on the horizontal axis, and if we indicate the other type of return on the vertical axis, एक के ऊपर हमने RA को indicate किया है, दूसरे के ऊपर हमने RB को indicate किया है. Both are moving in same direction side by side. We can say अगर R बढ़ रहा है तो RB भी बढ़ रहा है, अगर RA बढ़ रहा है RB भी बढ़ रहा है, अगर RB बढ़ रहा है तो RA बढ़ रहा है. Both are moving further and further with the passage of time. If we look at the direction of the arrow, we can say if it indicates that RA is increasing, that rate of return on the asset A, on the purchase of asset A is increasing. Similarly, rate of return on the asset B is increasing. They are moving in the same direction. We can redraw the relationship between these two curves like this. That this shows that rate of return on asset A and asset B, they are moving in same direction. उनकी एक ही direction है. They show positive trend, they show increasing trend, and they are moving rightward the upward direction. So they indicate a strong positive relationship with each other. इस तरह की situation जो होती है वो strong positive relationship को indicate करती है. Secondly, we have, if we indicate that if we have two variables which are negatively correlated with each other, अगर कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट जो है उसकी वैल्यू नेगेटिव आती है और क्लोजर टू -1 आती है, इफ इट इज क्लोजर टू -1, तो वी कैन से दैट देयर इज अगेन स्ट्रॉन्ग रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन two variables A, returns of two variables A and B. So we can say that again there is a strong positive relationship lying between the returns of asset A and returns of asset B, but they are moving in the opposite direction. They are moving in the different direction, and that is the asset returns have a perfect inverse relationship with each other. They have perfect inverse relationship with each other. We can indicate this by negatively sloped curve, which is also known as the downward sloping curve, which is also known as rightward declining curve. If we indicate rate of return on the asset A on the horizontal axis and we indicate rate of return on asset B on the vertical axis, we can see that negative relationship exists between the two. And how we can clarify this negative relationship, how we can make the concept clear about this negative relationship, we can say if we are lying at the point E, let's say, and this is the point E. At point E, we can say rate of return for B is too high and rate of return on A is too low. And if we further see if rate of return on B decline, rate of return on A will increase. For example, at new point, here we say that rate of return on B has gone down or rate of return on A has gone up, और A का rate of return जो है वो बढ़ गया है with the decrease in the rate of return on asset A. So we can say from this diagram it is clear that the rate of return of the two assets move in opposite direction, and they can move in opposite directions, and they can be kept in the similar portfolio asset of a similar portfolio set of any individual investor. The more close the absolute meaning of the correlation coefficient 1, the stronger the relationship between the assets of the two returns of two assets, and two variables are perfectly correlated in this situation, and we can say that two variables are perfectly negatively correlated if their correlation coefficient is negative and is closer to -1, is closer to -1. So we can say their relationship will move in opposite direction. The relationship of the returns on two assets, asset A and R, will move in the different directions and in reverse directions, in other words in contradictory direction. But the continuing with the topic, we know what, but we have most often we have the correlation between the assets return which are imperfect. We can say that the rate of return on the assets in most cases the association is likely to be negative. Association जो है वो इतनी strong नहीं होती. It is likely to be imperfect. Whether it is positive or negative, it is imperfect. Imperfect का मतलब जो होता है is weak association lies between two assets. Whether it is positive or it is negative, it is not perfect. It is relatively weaker. When correlation equals 0, there is no relationship between the returns on two assets. So we can say ये जो weak association है इसको हम zero association भी कहते हैं, इसको हम zero relationship कहते हैं. और we can say कि जो value of covariance measurement है that is equal to 0. Combining two assets with zero correlation with each other in portfolio reduces the risk, or this is the best type of choice and best decision of the individual investors to keep these two assets in the portfolio. For example, we can say अगर हमारे जो A and B दो assets हैं और उनका portfolio जो है हम बनाते हैं और if their covariance is 0, अगर उनकी इंटर रिलेशनशिप 0 है तो वी कैन से कि this is the best choice and best decision of the individual investor to buy the asset A and B to keep them in the portfolio holdings, because they are likely to reduce the risk associated with the individual investors benefit. जो individual investor का benefit होता है उसका जो risk होता है वो minimum हो जाता है when such two assets are purchased, when such two assets are bought for which there is no association as far as the returns of the assets are concerned. Therefore, a zero correlation between two assets is better than the positive correlation. That's it with today's lecture, which is the lecture number 8. At the end of the lecture, I will summarize the discussion for today's lecture. We discussed basically the return and risk for the investment of the items which we are going to keep in our portfolio holdings, and we discussed different measures of the risk, and we discussed that we have different measures. For example, the important of them are variance and covariance and sample variance and covariance and standard deviation. And we also discussed the different types of the covariance, that what type of covariance can exist between the returns of two assets, for example asset A and B, or इसमें we may have positive covariance, we may have negative covariance, we have zero covariance. Positive association जो होती है वो दो returns में वो होती है which enables the returns of two assets to move in same direction, और negative correlation जो होती है वो होती है that makes the returns of two assets to move in opposite direction, कि एक ही अगर का रिटर्न ज़्यादा है तो दूसरे का कम है. इन ए सिमिलर वे उनके रिटर्न जो होते हैं वो भी ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में मूव करते हैं. और अगर if we have no correlation, if we have found no correlation, if we have found zero covariance value and magnitude of the covariance 0 between the two assets returns, we find that the two assets are independent of each other, they are indifferent to each other, their choice is indifferent to each other. So the investor will be much more rational if she decides to keep such assets in his portfolio which have no interrelationship. We can say that such type of choice is the best choice for the portfolio holding. That's it with the today's lecture. Inshallah, we will continue for the next lecture with the risk and returns, continue the similar discussion. That's it. Allah Hafiz.